If you start Watson, right, if you come out and just say Watson's a starter,
Yep.
people going to say, oh, he was basically forced to say that Watson's a quarterback. If you start Shedeur and you come out and say Shedeur's our starter right away, people going to say, oh, they made him name a starter in Shedeur Sanders. You cannot bring Dillon Gabriel into this because now we down the little clown and pony show that we went through last year. We don't know who the quarterback going to be. We got this guy. We draft two guys.
Shedeur Sanders spent most of last season fighting just to get a real opportunity in Cleveland. But 1 year later, the situation is completely flipped. Shedeur is now getting serious first-team work and competing for the starting job, while Dillon Gabriel suddenly looks like the quarterback who could be running out of room. Gabriel has not been cut, and Cleveland has not announced that it plans to release him, but the way this quarterback competition is developing should definitely make him nervous. Shedeur keeps moving up, while Gabriel appears to be getting squeezed in a quarterback room that simply has too many bodies.
He does. He's got a Shedeur Sanders who we know is very popular throughout our country, social media. He did some good things, but he didn't do enough good things to just go, oh, he should be the definite starter here, and we just roll out the carpet.
The crazy part is that nobody would have predicted this when Cleveland drafted these two quarterbacks. The Browns selected Gabriel with the 94th pick and then waited until pick 144 to take Shedeur. That was a 50-pick difference, and it immediately told everyone which quarterback Cleveland appeared to value more at the time. Gabriel also got the first real opportunity during their rookie season. When the Browns finally made a quarterback change, they turned to him instead of Shedeur. For a while, it looked like Gabriel had the much safer future in Cleveland, but that advantage has disappeared quickly.
You know, and I'm paraphrasing here, but when he spoke on Shedeur Sanders, he said it is refreshing to see a young football player that understands where he is and is willing to put in the work right now to get to where he want to be. Last time I checked, Dillon Gabriel rookie season, rookie campaign wasn't all that great either. There's a starting quarterback job that is supposedly up for grabs, and these three men, as of right now, will be competing for it.
To understand how much things have changed, go back to last October. Cleveland decided to make Dillon Gabriel its starter while Shedeur remained behind him. ESPN was actually debating whether Gabriel becoming QB1 might be good for Sanders because it allows Shedeur to continue learning without being thrown into a difficult situation too early. Gabriel had the higher draft position, the first starting opportunity, and the chance to establish himself before Shedeur ever got meaningful NFL snaps. At that point, there wasn't much reason to believe Gabriel would be the quarterback worrying about his roster position less than a year later.
Adam Schefter reporting the Browns are making a quarterback change. They will start the rookie Dillon Gabriel this Sunday in London against Minnesota. I asked Peter Schrager a question moments ago. Who is going to be the backup? And you've gotten the answer.
Yeah, Schefter's got it as well. Flacco will be the backup, but Shedeur will be number 3. So your depth chart is Dillon Gabriel 1, Joe Flacco 2, fellow rookie Shedeur Sanders will be the number 3 man.
Then Gabriel suffered a concussion, and Shedeur finally got his opportunity. His rookie season was not perfect. He threw interceptions and sometimes held the ball too long, but he gave Cleveland something the offense desperately needed. He was not afraid to attack. He extended plays when protection collapsed, and he showed his arm could create explosive opportunities even when everything around him was falling apart. That became impossible to ignore when Sanders threw for 364 yards against San Francisco in only his second NFL start, the highest single-game passing total by a rookie quarterback that season. Suddenly, Cleveland had to look at him differently. By the end of the year, Sanders had started 7 games, and the conversation around Cleveland's future had completely changed. Now, Gabriel enters the new season in a much more complicated position. Watson is back, Shedeur is competing for serious first-team work, and Cleveland also drafted Dillon Gabriel in the 6th round. Carrying 4 quarterbacks into the regular season would be unusual, which means this competition is not just about who starts, it is about who stays. Here's the part nobody is talking about. Most of the first-team work during OTAs and minicamp reportedly went to Shedeur and Watson. That is far more important than any jersey number or media day photo. First-team reps tell you who the coaching staff actually wants to evaluate. Gabriel is still getting opportunities, but right now the most interesting battle in Cleveland is clearly Sanders versus Watson, and Gabriel is fighting to make sure he does not become the forgotten name in a room that has already moved past him once before.
Dillon Gabriel got some of those reps in minicamp. Shedeur hasn't taken any reps, at least publicly, when media was there to see it with the ones yet. That doesn't mean he didn't take any, but we didn't see him take any. And so because of that, I think they sort of indicated to you, this is how the depth chart's going to be set going into training camp, and we'll go from there.
There is another side to this because Cleveland's coaches have not been trashing Gabriel behind the scenes. Quarterbacks coach Mike Bajakian has actually praised both young quarterbacks and talked about how prepared Sanders and Gabriel have been throughout the offseason. That's important context because Gabriel getting fewer first-team reps doesn't mean the Browns suddenly think he can't play. Todd Monken has also explained that Cleveland isn't going to make every practice rotation perfectly equal. Different quarterbacks will get different opportunities because the coaching staff wants to evaluate them in different situations. Gabriel still has a legitimate chance to change the entire conversation during training camp and preseason. He already has NFL starting experience, and Cleveland knows what kind of worker he is. If Gabriel starts making better decisions and consistently moving the offense, the Browns aren't going to ignore that just because Shedeur generates more headlines. The problem for Gabriel is that Shedeur doesn't necessarily have to win QB1 immediately to make his roster situation uncomfortable.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a two-man race. I would just say that at every position, there's competition. Irrespective of the reps that they get, which I've said before, I mean, everybody ought to be competing. But what I have liked with Dillon is the way he goes about his business. Very professional, highly intelligent, understands football.
Imagine Watson wins the starting job. If Cleveland still believes in Shedeur as the young quarterback worth developing, Sanders becomes difficult to remove. Then Cleveland has to decide whether it needs both Gabriel and Green behind those two. Now imagine Shedeur actually beats Watson. Gabriel's situation gets even more complicated. Cleveland already has a young starter, Watson's contract keeps him involved, and Green gives them another developmental option. There may simply not be room. That is why Shedeur's improvement affects more than just his own starting chances. Every step Sanders takes changes the numbers for everybody else. Here's the part nobody is talking about. The arm talent has never been the main question with Sanders. Cleveland already knows he can make difficult throws and create when the pocket breaks down. The real question is whether he can operate the offense consistently. If he starts making quicker decisions while keeping the downfield aggression that made him dangerous last season, Cleveland suddenly has a much more serious quarterback situation than anyone expected when they drafted him in the 5th round, and that changes everything for everyone else in that room.
We were just rotating who was first reps. Shedeur to start. There were some other reps. The way it was going to turn out, Shedeur was going to get more reps, some of it in pass Kelly, some of it in team. A couple of the team periods were slow down ACT, more run than they were throw. So it was set up in a way for us to get a look at all of them. The plan was to have Shedeur have a few more reps, but to let Deshaun and Shedeur both have reps with the ones.
Training camp is where this becomes real. Cleveland does not have to make the final decision today, but eventually the numbers come down, and Gabriel has already learned how quickly a quarterback hierarchy can change in this league. Less than a year ago, Gabriel was getting the first opportunity while Shedeur waited. Then Sanders got his chance and finished the season as Cleveland's starter. Now, Shedeur is entering camp with first-team opportunities while Gabriel is the quarterback people keep questioning. That is an incredible reversal in less than 12 months. Here's the part nobody is talking about. Shedeur is not personally getting Gabriel cut. He is simply making himself harder to remove. Every first-team rep Sanders earns gives Cleveland another reason to invest in him. Every improvement makes the organization more willing to build around him. Sometimes players do not lose roster spots because they became terrible. They lose them because somebody else became too valuable to let go. Gabriel can still change that. A strong camp and preseason could remind Cleveland exactly why they drafted him in the 3rd round. Nothing is decided yet, but the pressure is completely different from last year. Gabriel is no longer just trying to beat Shedeur. He might be trying to prove Cleveland has enough reason to keep both of them. So when camp opens, do not only watch Shedeur versus Watson, watch Gabriel too. Because if Shedeur keeps climbing and Watson stays healthy, somebody in that quarterback room is going to feel the squeeze. Right now, Gabriel has more reason than anyone to make sure that player is not him.